Hey, what's up, everybody? This is not really a particular long podcast or anything like that. I just figured, probably you guys know the stuff that's going around. I'm on like a lot of the major sites. Kotaku had ran it, like everybody was running with the tweets and stuff between myself and Phil Spencer yesterday when the Quantum Break news came out. And I thought it'd be cool to like kind of maybe give my opinion or give my perspective of what happened and what was actually said, because very crafty of Phil Spencer the way he worded it, his tweet to me, to make it sound like I was kind of the bad guy. Very slick and kind of sleight of hand, if you will, to make me into the villain, which I'm not. Basically, what happened was I had woke up to the news. We were going to expect big news, and Mooch is here with me too. Say what's up, Mooch.
What's going on, guys? I'm not just a prop, I promise.
Yeah. And so basically I woke up to the news from Worrywart, no less. Quantum Break to PC. That was what he DM'd me. I said, huh? So I get up and I'm looking around, and they're like, okay, it's going to PC. And, Mooch, me and you, we've been doing Big Gamer Small Talk and Crossfire and stuff, and we said, we didn't believe it was going to go to PC, or at least not for a while. And the reason was because Microsoft released their list of games going to PC and the ones that were both on Xbox One and PC. And that was one of the only two that wasn't, with the other being Gears 4. So we said, Microsoft has been up front. We don't really take them as liars. Why would they lie to us about that now? I think that we were both on that same kind of page. And then when it came out, we're like 6 weeks away from launch of the game. And I've never heard of of something this late being announced for that. You know what I mean? Like, usually they do it a while in advance. Like, look at Gears Ultimate on Xbox One, right? That was announced, what was it, like right at E3 or whatever, when they did that PC trade show. So basically well in advance, and it was coming, and it still isn't released yet on Xbox or on PC. So this is going to release day and date. And I think Microsoft expected some kind of blowback because they were trying to give everybody free stuff and make it sound like good stuff. So it makes me sound like a little baby crybaby fan. I asked Phil Spencer, I says, you guys are misleading people with this, because you've said multiple times that this game isn't coming to PC. And let me be honest, it stings that all their games are going to PC. I'm not going to lie, but the reason why I tweeted Phil wasn't because this specific thing, like, oh my God, it's going to PC, so I'm canceling my pre-order. That comment came in basically because I felt like they were misleading consumers, because holding off this long to announce that it's coming to PC is misleading consumers. People will go out and have bought an Xbox One, maybe specifically for this game. I've got plenty of tweets to back that up, where people were like, hey, look, I bought an Xbox One. Now I'm kind of screwed. I have a capable gaming PC, but now I'm definitely screwed. I can't do anything. So, I felt like, okay, Phil, you let us down a little bit. So I messaged Phil. I said, hey, Phil, I have to cancel my pre-order because I feel like you guys are shady. Phil responds, you're canceling your pre-order of a game you want to play just because people on Windows 10 can also play it. Right. So the way he worded that whole thing made me seem like a bitch. And of course, he gets like all these retweets and favorites and all that stuff. Right. Really, I didn't have a chance to say much after that. Just, that wasn't it. But everybody, obviously that made Reddit for both PC and Xbox, GameSpot, Eurogamer. I guess now it's on that show on the No or whatever it is, like people talking, just like I'm an entitled fanboy. Listen, as an Xbox One owner or Xbox fan, a lot of the games we buy end up going to PC. I'm fine with that. There's a key few that I don't want on PC, and that'll sting when those games do go to PC, and I do feel they probably will. But this one, okay, you're hedging your bet. This game is a $75 to a $100 million project, right? I can understand why you would want that. It's only going to Windows 10, so I can see some of that. But the way that they kind of portrayed me as this bad guy, and they propped Microsoft up. First of all, two things happened yesterday that were negative to Microsoft, in my opinion. One, they got trounced in the NPDs. Didn't even get 100,000 consoles sold in January. Nobody's talking about that. So Microsoft got what they wanted there. Two, this whole PC thing with me is just a very good distraction, because now people aren't as, they're just like, oh, gamers unite, it's just all one big ecosystem. And it's like they're pushing this agenda that I don't think very many people signed up for. I know I didn't. I mean, Mooch, what were you, because you were watching this unfold. I mean, what were you thinking? Like, people were like, wow,
Yeah, I mean, the first part of what you were saying is what we should really focus in on here. And the reason that I believe you're so passionate about it, and I think the reason that people are saying the community is divided, is just that, originally it was just never said that way. Now, Crap knows this. Me and Crap, we feel the same way on some of this. We feel a little different on another part of it. I mean, myself personally, I just look at the PC as not really in existence. And it's funny, you watch the people on YouTube and you watch the people on Twitter that are this vocal minority, and even the gaming media. The gaming media really stands behind the PC. They're like, "Oh, I play on PC." Well, so what if you and the 5 people in your production? Let's be honest, the gaming media is made up of peanuts, really. There's a couple of them that are really big, but the majority of people that you follow on YouTube gaming media, there's a handful for a skeleton crew for production. They say they play on PC, whatever, good for them. But realistically, getting back to the bomb that went off, was just that the way that you look at I went on Best Buy when I saw the Rory Ward and everybody else was putting these tweets out saying, "Hey, did you see it's coming to PC?" I went to Best Buy because there was a sale on it, and not a sale, on an advertisement on it, and it said on the box art, I still have it saved actually on my phone. It says Xbox One exclusive on the box art, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we see that they're ignoring that completely, and we're going to have it on PC now. I just wish that they did say it ahead of time. Just tell the customer, I mean, that's
6 weeks. I mean, can anybody find a time ever when a game that was going to come to PC was announced with only 6 weeks left to go? I mean, to me, and look, it's not because it's going to PC. I get it. That's fine. I don't care about that. Most games do go to PC, and I'm on record as saying that's fine. What I cared about was, and apparently people don't care that I was looking out for consumers, was that this game, they kind of swindled people, right? And they might do it with Gears 4. Gears 4 might come to PC. I would assume probably. You don't think so, Mooch, but I would think maybe. So what would you think, Mooch, if they do this again? Wait 4 weeks before Gears 4 releases and then announce PC day and date. I mean, would you think that that's being shifty or shady?
That would be shady. Here's the thing. Microsoft has done one thing really well, but unfortunately the one thing they've done really well kind of just sucks every time they have a learning experience. They keep doing something wrong, then getting the backlash, and then they fix it. Well, I wish they would hire somebody in place so that they don't have to keep having the backlash. Like the whole thing that went down with 2013, and that still somehow resurfaces every day in the gaming media, some way, shape, form, or another. And now this here, they kind of just say, "Oh, and by the way, it's going to PC." I mean, here's the thing. Don't they know? They keep saying their ears to the ground. They know what's going on. They pay attention to Twitter. Don't they know that their hardcore group of people don't necessarily like that? So fine. Again, you want to bring it to PC, bring it to PC, but just don't spring it on everybody last second. Like, it's really not a big deal, but you could have just said Quantum Break coming to Xbox One PC April 5th. Bang. Say that right away. You could have said that on the delay, last year's delay, right in August when they were like, "We're going to present at Gamescom." You knew it back then. Just say it. Say, coming to Xbox PC April 5th. And it's all water under the bridge at that point, especially since it's so far out. I think that's where you got stung, Crap, a little bit. And what I've been doing is talking to Crap offline and on these shows, and I'm just trying to say, listen, to the crap gamers of the world and to the people who are upset, remember something. It's at least staying in Microsoft's ecosystem. It's it's going to be it's a Microsoft owned IP, and it is what it is. And this is where we're going, people. And Crap knows this now too. This is where we're going. So whether or not Gears ends up going directly to PC or not, I don't think so, because I still think they're going to want to take Gears, put it into a custom console box with the new Slim that's rumored to be coming out, and I think they're going to push that to push hardware. Where right now I don't think they don't have any hardware to push with this. So they're like, why not? Let's just sell as much software as possible. That's my take on it, and I do understand where Crap's coming from. I think the main point of Crap doing this video, this conference here, and then doing other shows, is that I think a lot of his tweets yesterday were taken out of context, right? Crap. I mean,
they were the main one. The main one specifically was like, and people were like, "Well, it's free stuff." Well, look, they were giving you free stuff to shut up people, in my opinion, and to gloss over the fact that they're springing this release on you after denying a PC release multiple times. And that's what I cared about. It wasn't that it's coming to PC. I don't care. Enjoy. If you guys want to play on Xbox or Windows, hey, and you get your free copy, that's fine by me. But don't do it at the expense of people that may have bought $350 console to play this game specifically, who had capable PCs. It seems like a shit thing to do to me, and they're just getting away with that. And then Phil comes out with that little kind of bullshit, like, oh, blah blah blah, and he goes, I'm here to bring the best content to gamers on Windows and Xbox, and we're breaking walls down. And nobody ran with the next part that I said, because Phil's so full of shit with that. He's like, breaking walls down. And I said, Phil, breaking walls down? We pay $60 a year for Xbox Live. They're getting all of our games now and don't have to pay anything to play online. How is that breaking walls down?
Right.
You know, just to me.
Well, my whole thing was this too. We talked about breaking the walls down. This is my stance on it. And this is where me and Crap, again, just difference of opinion. I don't really care. Again, PC gamers, to me, they don't exist really. Like they're not. Console people stick with console people. The console, it's called the console war. It's PlayStation and Xbox, and we go back and forth and the whole thing, whether you find it entertaining or you don't, whatever, that's up to you. But PC people just kind of snuck their way in here. They're like, oh, look, remember, we play games too. We're like, yeah, we remember you're hunched over a desk all day. That's cool. Yeah. Like, we don't really care. So my whole thing for Phil, though, is if I could talk to Phil, I'd say, Phil, look, if you want to break the walls down and the barriers are gone, and we're going to go ahead and make games, day on delivery is going to be basically the same as Xbox One as PC, well, then that's fine. But just do us a favor. Also remove the $60, $50, $60 Xbox Live tag, because why are we paying and they aren't? If everything's equal, well, then everything's equal. That's the way I look at it. All I'm saying is you can't tell me everything's equal. I'm okay with everything going the way they have planned, but you've got to get rid of the Xbox Live. I defended Xbox Live. I had no problem paying for it because I like the service. I didn't mind the free. I don't like the free games we get, but whatever. They're throwing them in there. I don't like the free lollipop you get at the bank, but you don't want them to take away. It's like whatever. Who gives a shit? But my point being is just that. Now with this Xbox Live being a debate, I think it's something to talk about. I don't think the Xbox One subscribers and customers should be paying for it when Xbox Live is free on PC. Yeah,
you know what? I agree with you. And look, that would be a good way, I think, to appease everybody, right? I mean, you want to appease people. Then I don't know if Microsoft will want to just give up $3 billion a year or whatever the hell that makes. But if you do want to kind of appease people or whatever, I think that would be a way to go about it. And not just that, but I think that you have to admit that you should at least keep your heavy hitters as console exclusives, or at least the newest iterations. If they want to go and say Forza 5 on PC, I don't think you're going to see as big of an issue. But if you say Forza Horizon 3 day and date this year with PC, Gears 4 day and date, then I think you're going to see people have a little bit more of an issue. I think even you might, but right now I think a lot of this people are just looking at free stuff. Look at the economy that we have. Look at our president. We live in a world where people get elected based on offering people free stuff. So a lot of times people don't look at how that can mess up things later on down the road. They just see the free stuff. And not that I'm trying to get political on you or anything, or anybody that's watching, but that's just how it is. People are like, we get free Alan Wake and free. Guess what? That stuff was going to be backwards compatible. It's not really costing them anything. You know what I mean? You're getting digital codes for all this stuff. And in my opinion, Microsoft, and again, I know you might not agree with this, is gauging, even if they do more hardware, I would guarantee you that they're gauging how many people get the digital copy of Quantum Break and then play that on Windows as well. They're trying to gauge the amount of people.
No, I do agree with you. And I was thinking about how they would do that. They would just code it so that whether or not you get whether it's a free one or not, they'll see how many played on each system. And don't get me wrong, though. I was saying this to Crap on Crossfire earlier. This game Quantum Break is the first game that's going to push the Xbox One's power. And we're going to see something very, very impressive. I know that for a fact. We're going to see something extremely, extremely impressive. And I think that they want to gauge the interest on how this is between the two systems. But remember, Microsoft owns both platforms. So it's not necessarily the craziest thing in the world.
It's not. It's not. But you look like to me, the Quantum Break thing, people are trying to, I guess, put it down into one thing. Crap Gamer's a crybaby because Quantum Break is coming to PC. That's not it. I feel like every game is going to be, you know, if they would come out and just go, hey, you know, well, we're not stupid. We're not going to put Gears, Forza, and Halo on there. Then I think that eases it a little bit, because I do understand Quantum Break's a new IP, very expensive. Put it on there. I'm saying, I'm on record. Do it. I wish they would have done it 6 months later. Right. You know what I mean? And not announce it right yet. You know what I mean? Maybe give it a month or two before you announce it on PC. But, you know, I'm all for them trying to make as much money for that, for development or whatever. You know, I mean, we're not going to see another Quantum Break for 8 years or 6 years or whatever it is.
Right.
Anyway, but, you know, I get that it's an expensive product and they want to make their money back and they have 2 platforms. I get that. But at the same time, it seems like they just kind of really flubbed that message yesterday, you know, just sprung it on you. And I know Tim and people like that agreed. Like a lot of people, even like when we're talking with South, like he'll joke like it's not just about Quantum Break. He's like, oh, is it just over that one game? No, it's not over the one game. It was the messaging, the way they denied it going to PC, and then people could have spent their hard-earned money on an Xbox One that they didn't need. You know what I mean? And then to have it kind of the rug pulled from out of them. I'd be mad. You know what I mean? And so it was more consumed. Maybe I should have just shut up, right? I mean, I probably would have a few more subs now, a few more people follow me on Twitter. You know, you know what I'm saying? Look, I've built my YouTubing off of speaking my mind. You know, I've never, like, even though people want to say I'm just a blind fanboy, whenever there's been an issue with the Xbox or PlayStation or Wii U, I've always spoke up because I own all of them. And I think that everybody probably should. So there's no games exclusive for you. But at the end of the day, I bought an Xbox to play Xbox exclusives, PlayStation to buy PlayStation exclusives, Wii U to buy, you know, Wii U exclusives. And I think that, you know, I'll do that with the NX too, as long as it has some kind of achievements and it's, you know, decently powerful and priced well enough, I'll do it. But Microsoft, I think, putting every single game on Windows, I get that that's their thing too, but, you know, why not?
Well, here's my question. Let me ask you a question, Crap. This just came into my head. I want you got to use your imagination here, because I really need you to think about this. Don't just think of it as a quick question, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's just envision that we're in 2016, but there is no Twitter, there is no YouTube.
Yeah.
No, right? No, wait, really?
Those were the days.
right. Yeah, those were the days. So there's no Twitter, there's no YouTube. You're home. You're still dependent upon Game Informer magazine or something. Okay, you're still dependent on knowledge in a different way, or the internet. Just the internet itself is still around, but not the Reddits and not all the stuff that we have the gaming community wrapped around right now. So now you're sitting at home, you're browsing on the internet, you get your Gamer Informer for the month, and you look at it and it says, you know, you've already got your Quantum Break pre-ordered, and it says Quantum Break coming to Xbox One and PC.
I don't think it's as much of an issue for most people.
I don't think it's even an issue for you. I think it's only an issue for you because I think that, you know, it's hard for me to say, hey, take Twitter, take YouTube out of it, because that's a big part of our lives right now. Okay, so we have this. This is what I'm boiling down to. It's a vocal minority that this PC is. Yeah. It's a smaller market. They buy it. Listen, when people go, oh no, PC gamers buy a lot of games. They buy that Mickey Mouse shit on Steam sales for $3 to $5.
I agree. Or they play League of Legends for free.
Dota 7, you know, Dota 2 for, you know, whatever, and or World of Warcraft for 18 years and counting. You know, they play the same thing over and over again. They don't. They're not like. Why do you think developers like focus on console games first? Why do you think developers like Bungie said, "Fuck you, PC. We're not giving you Destiny." You know, so I mean, my whole point is that these guys they're not focused on the PC. You shouldn't be focused on the PC, and that's hard for me to say because I just told you it's hard for you to envision a world without Twitter and YouTube. Is it easy for you to envision that these people, they didn't exist to you, Crap? All those great games that you have on 360 in your 360 livelihood. You never thought about PC people. They didn't exist. You know what?
To you. Like here's the thing. Yeah, like I would.
That's
like,
my point.
I have. This is how a lot of people see some of the 360 collection pictures that I post, and they're like, "How come it's not in alphabetical order?" And I'm like, "Well, top row is exclusives, right?" And I just put it like that. You know what I mean? Top row is exclusives, even though a good portion of them are on PC. Like I don't really look at it as PC as a thing. PC is meaningless to me. I think PC gamers for the most part are scumbags. They might even be worse than Sony fanboys. I have to say, I don't think that this is it could be a decent thing. I mean, we'll have to see. Won't we have to wait a couple months, but wouldn't you be glad if, look, I might have taken the brunt of this, but don't you think some Xbox fans might be glad if Microsoft really was thinking about killing the Xbox, and maybe the amount of noise that I've made or others have made with me maybe has them reconsidering that maybe not everybody will just blindly follow them into whatever they want?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you begrudgingly agree.
no, I'm at. Well, you know what it is too is I don't know if you saw Albert Pinello he's tweeting and he hasn't tweeted in what months. They got everybody coming out of Microsoft.
What's he talking about? His Windows 10 PC?
Yeah, basically. I don't
He's
know.
like, yeah,
He says, "Love that more people are going to get to play our games. Have to admit, surprised by some of the reaction." And then somebody, I don't know, Trev, he wrote, "I'm all for bringing down the walls. However, what does some of the English is wrong here. What does mean as far as playing for Xbox Live on Xbox One, knowing it's free on PC?" Then Blow Diablo, who always writes, and he's a big fan of our show. He says, "Laugh out loud. No way you get an answer to that. It makes too much sense." And then Albert Pinello wrote, "I think the entry price to PC has always been higher, but games are cheaper. Console is cheaper up front." Yeah, a lot of people are, so you pay a little more for content and services. There are different ecosystems with different economics. That's what
But
Albert
they're the
wrote.
same. But here's the thing, though. When you buy, like us, we bought Xbox One for $500.
Right.
And we pay probably between if you just say $50 a year for Xbox. I've been paying it for like 9 years. That adds up way more than a PC. Hey, what's up, Nancy?
Hey, Nancy. Oh, she left.
Oh, she did. Okay, well, so I mean, I think it evens out. I just think that's kind of a cop out in my opinion. If they're getting all the games we're getting, we buy their hardware, right? I mean, we're buying their product, their hardware, but yet it seems like we get a little bit punished. And I said that to Phil yesterday too. I says, you know what? I feel punished sometimes as an Xbox gamer. We took the brunt of the attacks. Just because I went with Xbox One simply because it was, the games. It was all about the games. They had the exclusives, Killer Instinct, Rise, Dead Rising 3, Forza 5, Zoo Tycoon. It was like a good mix of games that they had. Titanfall was coming in March. That's why I went with it, I didn't really care. Like, you saw a little bit of an outrage. I remember when Dead Rising 3 and Rise went to PC. Suddenly those games were great. And it's the same thing with Quantum Break. I mean, what was the leading thing from Tits McGee on IGN last night? Quantum Break to PC. That was the big news, right? I mean, everybody's talking about Quantum Break now, right? I mean, you'll see Mitch Dyer and the Xbox group talk about it now because they don't have to play it on Xbox. I doubt they even own Xboxes,
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, do they even own Xboxes? I don't know.
They don't really talk about it like they do.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully South and those guys, ask him that. I would love to be in that podcast. I swear to God. But
well, here's the thing. I mean, crap. The thing I say to you is, I want you. And don't get me wrong. You have every right. What do we always say? We're in America. You have to voice your opinion, and you're right.
Exactly.
I want you to be able to take all this in, and I think you did good by doing what you did. I think that whether people agree with you or not. Like I said, I'm on board with most of what you're saying. The only thing I'm leaving the door open for is I've always believed in what is possibly. We talked about on BGST for what, a year now, crap? Remember Showstopper's like, he's been trying to pitch this every week he was on. He's like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
Well, here's the thing, right? And I can hardly wait if he's in BGST Sunday.
I know, right?
This is the thing. He was pitching that, which I figured, right? And I knew it because it's already an Xbox thing. Like, I have Windows 10, so it's kind of annoying. Like, I have a Windows phone, an Xbox PC or a Windows PC, and I have an Xbox One. So whenever I get a notification on my Xbox One, it goes bing on my Xbox One, it goes bing on my PC, and it goes bing on my phone, right? So I get it. Like, I can get that stuff. It's great, right? I can dance with that, but give people that buy your hardware a little bit of a reason to feel good about themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel
that's where you're right.
The 360, man, early on, it's like Saints Row, Dead or Alive, that was an exclusive. Call of Duty 3 was an exclusive. I mean, it was on PC too, but I mean, it was console exclusive. I mean, they were really putting it. You really felt good about having that. Everybody had it. Everybody. It was like the thing to have, and now it's like the joke. It's like it's the punchline to a joke. And we took that beating. We went with it because of games, and now it's like they're just dismissing us. And let's be honest, Phil Spencer threw me to the wolves. Like, let's not even make any bones about it. They lost the NPD yesterday by a large margin. They didn't even get 100K. What's up, Nancy? Your
Yeah,
bot. You
I had technical difficulties. My mic wouldn't work. I could hear you guys fine, but I'm saying crap mooch, and you guys are still talking. I was like, God damn it, they can't hear me.
We couldn't hear you.
your voice changer was kind of messing up there, but
Yes.
yeah, it was pretty good.
Can
I mean, look.
Could I say
go
one
ahead.
thing before you get started? And I
Go
have
ahead.
to say this, okay? And I didn't get a chance to say, I said it on other shows, but I gotta say this. Although, you know, crap, me and you disagree on some things, you know, but there's one thing I gotta say, and to all my people who are watching.
All the Titanfall maniacs.
Right.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
That, everybody who's watching us right now.
Yeah.
Everybody and I gotta say this to you, crap. Everybody misunderstood what you were saying. You were trying to make a point for us consumers.
Yeah.
We don't deserve to be lied to. Okay.
Yes, that was it.
That was it. It had nothing to do with it going to PC.
Yeah.
And I get that. Yeah, we're all pissed that it went to PC because we were lied to.
Yeah.
Okay. But people need to know that you didn't do it because it went to PC. You did it because you feel strong about the Xbox and us people as consumers, and you being a consumer yourself.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'll tell you this: like, you can go back and if you like click on those, you'll read and you can see that, and then you look at all what the websites use, and it's just like, oh, I'm an entitled fanboy. I'm crying because more people get to play the game because Phil Spencer made it that way. And if you don't think Phil Spencer was very calculated in what he did, he might still think, hey, Crap's a good guy, but I see an opportunity. He didn't. You don't get to be where you are, head of Xbox, without stepping on a few people, right?
Exactly.
And let's be honest, Phil is probably, he's probably a nice guy. But he stepped on a big fan, and people love it. You know, the haters love it. And now it's like I don't even know what to say because people are like, well, what are you doing, Crap? Are you pro PlayStation now? Why would that be the first thing? Because everybody goes from one.
No, you're not pro PlayStation. What you are is you're standing up for the Xbox community is what you're doing, and people aren't getting that. Listen, let me tell you something. I went on a rampage myself, and you know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know. I didn't pre-order it or anything, but I at first said too, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to play it. Right. You know, I honestly did. I changed my mind. I probably will get it because I want to support the Xbox, but I appreciate you taking a stand for the rest of us.
Hey, you know what? I think everybody should get it. You know what I mean? I think that I think it's a great looking game. I have a bid in for a review copy. That's how I would probably get it if it comes out.
But I want to thank you for taking a stand for everybody else, and I'm sorry you took the brunt of everything because that's not the way it should have been.
Yeah, and you know, it's okay. It's like, the thing that bothers me is like I get accused of being a fanboy a lot, and I have a preference for Xbox, but I've always spoke my mind, good or bad. But it seems like whenever I speak my mind about something bad or say something's not hunky-dory, people just flip out, and they're like, oh my God, unsub. You lost a fan. I'm not following you anymore. You know what I mean? It's like
I've said shit. I lost at one time. I did lose a couple fans because I did say something to Phil Spencer. Yeah. But I even direct messaged him with this, okay, with the link. But I also spoke to him after that in a chat room, and he had no issues with it, okay? Because I told him how I felt, okay? But that's the deal. You can't be friends with these people. And I did a video last night, even saying that. I understand things are going in different directions. It's a new year. We're moving further in a millennium and all that other shit. I get that, okay? I get that it's going to Quantum Break is going to PC. We can't do shit about it. I get it, okay? One thing to do is like
you're botting out. You sound auto-tuned there.
Am I? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, now that's better. You're good.
Okay. No, I think I hit my mic. That's why. I'm moving my hands around. I'm not Italian, but sometimes I move my hands around. I just feel, I mean, I understand if they send it to PC later on, but let us enjoy it as an exclusive first, 3 to 6 months.
Hey, I'm good with that. Look, we were on your X Crossfire podcast, and we were talking about possibly the next Xbox and what they can do. And I was thinking about it a little more. How would they still get me on board, right? And you're right. I'm okay with them having two ecosystems, but make them wait 6 months to a year on everything. You know what I mean? And I would still think the big three don't ever go to PC except for maybe the older versions, or give them like that Halo Online or whatever, where it's just that like modified Halo 3 kind of online only. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. Do something separately. They're not paying because the way I'm looking at it now is, and it kind of annoys me, is same thing with like people that like you pay your taxes and that basically can go to anybody that doesn't feel like working or whatever. You know what I mean? Basically, PC gamers get to play on Xbox Live for free, get our games cheaper because you can get the CD keys and stuff, right, for much cheaper. You can get Rise of the Tomb Raider for like $9 on CD keys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's still like $60 on Xbox Live. So
I have
you
another
can.
question for you.
Yes.
Tying in with that. Are we supposed to be selling consoles or somebody else's PC? Because they don't do hardware, so are we supposed to be selling somebody else's? Because I bought my PC and it's got Windows 10 on it. I didn't pay for it; it was on it already. So are we selling PCs or are we selling fucking consoles?
Well, unfortunately, I think Microsoft doesn't. You know, Rand, right? Who's a cool guy. Actually, I'm really getting to like him and Southbound. That I've done a handful of podcasts with them. They're great people. But I will say that Rand and if you don't know him, he's like the guy on the quest to be the second person to get 1 million gamer score. Yeah. And he said that he believes Microsoft has given up on the Xbox One and they threw in the towel. They're trying like hell to get the next generation. They're trying to, I guess, probably cut their losses. That probably explains why their stuff's going to PC. But it's really plugging holes in the ship, and you're going to eventually have to take your hands off those holes, because if you come out with another console, you're going to have exclusives to sell it out of the gate, and you're going to have to give people reason to get it. Now, I will get it
exactly
as long as they keep those key few only on the console, and the rest, like to me, Quantum Break seemed like a missed opportunity. People were going to buy an Xbox One for this game. It looks gorgeous,
right? And I said that myself. People were going to buy it anyway. People were going to buy the Xbox itself, and they could have got rid of. I know they want to go to a Slim. They could have got rid of all the Xboxes ones that are out there right now before the Slim came out with Quantum Break. Not all of them, but then with one of the other exclusives, and then send it to PC later. I have a problem with PC people getting it later on, but since they don't pay for Xbox Live and they're getting cheaper versions of everything, and then they want to put them in like for example, I know you guys were talking about this, and I talked about it as well yesterday. When you put them in a shooting game, you put your mouse on them and you're dead. Come on, how is that comparable? It's not.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's not comparable. I think that
if they're going to do that, they should have their own online system, and we have ours, and make them pay for theirs, and we pay for ours.
Well, like they don't address concerns, and Mooch, you would probably agree with this too, right? Like, isn't there a whole bunch of concerns? They want crossplay between the two, right?
Right.
Because Phil Spencer said yesterday, more gamers to play each other, all this stuff, right? But how is that going to work out? Do you cap the frames per second or the resolution for PC gamers that they're allowed to use? How do you stop them from using cheats? How do you stop them from using keyboard and mouse if you have to play against them?
That was brought up. That was brought up a long time ago, and I listened to Mike Ibarra on a podcast talk about it, and he said that those are all things that they have to work on. Because, of course, with Quantum Break, we don't have that issue because it's a single-player game.
Right.
But moving forward, they're well aware that they would have to make options that you wouldn't be, like if you were playing with a keyboard and mouse, and that's what you're playing with, you wouldn't be able to jump into a multi-player match with the Xbox One folks. You know what I mean? They would have it so that it's grayed out. You wouldn't be able to. Yeah. So only when you had the an elite controller dongled in via hardwired or wireless would it would know, and it knows this with code. I mean, just so you know, just how specific code can get. Anyone who's listening to this, you should pay attention to this. If you're at work and you're going onto websites you're not supposed to, of course they can tell the website. Yeah. They also know your typing pattern when you're typing at work. Your IT department can tell your typing pattern. They know you could honestly get blocked from something if it's an improper typing pattern. I just know people that work in big IT parts of like what was Philip Magnavox, etc. And the stuff that they know what you're doing at your desk is insane if they really want to get down to the nitty-gritty. If they can do that, they can tell whether or not you're using keyboard and mouse or if your controller's enabled. So, I mean, those things are very they're definitely issues. They are definitely complications, but they're definitely easy workarounds for people like Microsoft. So those things used to bug me. That was a question I had years ago, but after I listened to Mike Ibarra and I talked to a couple of my friends that work, again, they're heads of IT for big corporations. The stuff that I've heard that they can really trace, watch, and my point is if you can trace and watch it, you can also make code to, gray things out and blah, 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 and allow people access. So, that's not really the concern I have. My concern is just, and I'm okay with this. Crap, I understand where you're in question right now because we've asked Phil certain things and he's retracted on not retracted but embellished slightly, as we know. Is that he's very
embellished?
Yeah. Well, he's yeah. You like that? He said basically he says he did say Xbox 2 or whatever you want to call the successor to Xbox One will be coming. You know, ultimately that will be coming, and I think it'll become. We've said this on BGST. Nothing we're saying is really new. That it'll be coming probably 2019, 2020, and you know, as long as Microsoft is making hardware, this is me. You know, the Mooch doesn't care if it goes to PC because again, when it comes down to a crap, once we get done with this, right? Let's just envision this world again. We shut down this. You're done. You're like, all right, everybody, we're done with the podcast. Thank you. Good night. You shut down YouTube. You shut down Twitter. You put your phone to the side. We both go out. We both turn our Xbox Ones if they're not already on, and you either watch TV on them or you game on them. So the PC world at that point completely and utterly leaves my mind. And here's the point, Crap, and Nancy. Okay, basically, there's a very small group of people playing PC games. They're very loud people. You know what I mean? They're really loud in the room. Like there's like, if picture a room with 1,000 people. There's like 15 PC gamers, and they get the loudest voices. It's almost like they're tenors in an opera trio. They're obnoxiously loud, but they're not really a majority. And that's the whole thing here. To me, this is... I felt like this after I was watching all the podcasts yesterday, and we've been going through this, and there's so many texts and tweets and this and that.
Oh my God, too many.
But my point is, it's all for naught because it's irrelevant.
No, Mooch, I understand what you're saying, but one thing that still bothers me about this, although we're in the majority, we still have to pay for them to play live, which I don't think is fair.
That's correct, Nancy.
And you know what? And I know Microsoft does software, but they're not selling them their PCs, okay? Microsoft is selling us their consoles as well as their games and everything else. They're getting this shit lower price, free, and we're paying for them to even join a game with us, even if they fix that shit with a controller and everything. They're going to play with us online, and we're paying for them to do that. I don't care if it's a minority. I still don't think that's fair.
Xbox Live should be free. Xbox Live should be free. And listen, I'm with Crap on this. It's not going to be free. Nobody, no big business in the world. If it was $3 million, yes. $3 billion. No. No. Or as what's his face there would say, Yoshida. No.
No.
You know?
No.
So, you know, no.
Hey, we did that at the same time. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. What do you got? A recording over there for the voice changer? Come on, Moose.
Shout out my boy Yoshida. What up, son? My biggest fan now.
Yeah, he's your fan now after what you did.
Oh, you know what? He had to know me, right? Like he has to know that I trash.
You send messages everywhere, Crap. So everybody knows who the hell you are.
Well, yeah. I mean, look. There's no like my buddy Snipes told me, man, who I grew up with, dude. Cool black dude who I met like years ago on my Battlefront days.
Oh, so you know Wesley?
No, not that Snipes.
I'll stop playing with you.
my boy Kendall, right? I've known him forever. He's like, yo, Crappy, man. He goes, I see you get a lot of hate on the internet. He goes, but you know what they say? If you don't have haters, you ain't popping. And so I didn't know what the hell he meant, but now I guess I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get it until...
That's exactly it. You're listen, a lot of people are definitely, poking at you and giving you shit and this and that, and that's fine. Listen, it is what it is. Right now I'm doing this podcast, and there's actually this putz that's arguing with me about PC, just saying, here's what they said. Basically, you got to hear this. This is just interesting. This is what I'm talking about with the PC. Your narrow view of PC gamers is hilarious. Blah blah blah. And I said, the rest of you guys don't buy anything. You pirate games. He goes, I said, you should be embarrassed. I said, I'm not embarrassed. I pay for my games, unlike the PC guys. You should be embarrassed to publicly announce you like PC. And then she goes on and on and on. They're saying basically about, and I said, listen, even the Division beta, a beta, for God's sake, the PC audience couldn't leave that alone. They had to hack it. Yeah. They hacked the beta.
Why?
Why would you hack a beta? Like, what fun possibly come from unlimited ammo in a beta?
You just blew out my goddamn ear. Whoa.
I'm sorry. Did my mic?
I get
You're right, though. You're 100% right, though.
Yeah, I mean, my point is this: they just and then the person wrote me back and they said, "Well, that's what a beta is for, to catch things like that." I wrote back, I said, "Point proven. PC gamers are hacks. You think they won't try it again? You're the fool." Like, I'm not the one that's I don't. First of all, I like to beat a game on my own merit. Okay,
Exactly.
I don't want any cheat codes. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of that.
I don't like cheats either. I don't like all that simple shit where you can put your mouse and click on something and you could shoot somebody. No, I want to show my skills off. I want to play the goddamn game.
There's people playing Call of Duty on the PC, and I've had people write me. They're like, "Mooch, check this guy out." They send me a video. The guy's flying in the air, like flying.
Yeah.
He's flying in
and
the
I'm like,
fucking
"Come
air.
on, man!"
Come on.
I'm like, "Come on, this is bullshit." Like, why would you want to play? Like, if that's what you get, the problem is you just have all these people that have nothing else to do on PC. They're just and here's the thing: they think they're super intelligent. Well, congratulations, you're super intelligent. You put in a 15-digit passcode that made your guy fly.
Hey,
I mean, like,
you know, I'm with you. Well, you know what? Like, I always get when people are like, "We get mods," and I'm like, "Dude, I pay $60 for a game. I don't want Billy Basement modding his shit so that my game runs like shit." You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't appeal to me at all. Like, I get that they like that shit, but to me, I hate it. You know, I don't want mods on my console. You know, that's why part of the reason I'm a console gamer. I don't like that. You know, the whole hacking. Like, I've seen people like that play like Titanfall on PC, and they're like, "It's awful. There's hacks. There's this." You know what I mean? I don't like that stuff. I just think
bullshit.
That yeah.
And then you're not also playing on your own merit either. Like Mooch was just saying, why would you play a game where all you do is cheat and have hacks and do this and how is that playing a game? You're taking all the fun out there. What? So you could just win the game? Yeah, come on. That's retarded.
Hey, I'm with you.
And Mooch, I got something to say. I'm going to send you my resume since you're sending yours in because you could do one part. I'm going to do the marketing part since I know advertising.
Works for me.
We'll go together.
Now we just need Phil to accept that email.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Phil, you know what? He could be a good guy. I don't know, but
I think he's a good guy. But also one other thing, I think he's done some things wrong and being devious with things like he did with Quantum Break. But I also think he also got stuck with shit from the people they fired.
Yeah, I mean, look, they don't like it.
It's a 50-50 there. Part of it's his fault and part of it's not. I'm not going to blame it. I'm not going to say none of it's his fault because this shit about lying was definitely on them. I'm not going to say that.
Am I crazy for thinking that he doesn't really even like the Xbox One hardware? Like, I mean, like to me, it just doesn't seem like they care about that as much. Like they're like,
remember something. I want to make a point here, Crap, because I know where you're going with this. Let me throw this out there. Remember, I think the Xbox One, even though Phil has to stand by brand, the Xbox One, the people that are in power right now in Xbox, this wasn't their box.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. It was the people before's box.
Yeah, this isn't their box. And,
that's what I'm saying. That's why
Nancy's right. Yeah.
He's stuck.
I think he just wants to get he's trying to bleed out his thoughts through software because you can't change the hardware. We've been saying that since day one. You know?
You can't do nothing about it now until the new box comes out.
Crap, one thing you said during Crossfire that I want to repeat and then I want to expand on. You said the reason I got an Xbox One and the reason I buy any consoles are for their exclusives.
Yeah.
Well, with the times changing, okay, and I'm not going down the same road. I'm going somewhere different. Stick with me here. With times changing, what's going on now with consoles, and I'm not saying you have to buy into this, is that now power is the new exclusive. Nobody cares about exclusives anymore. Everybody knows they can find $350 and go buy a box, right? Anybody, it doesn't matter anymore, okay? There's pizza delivery guys driving BMWs. My point is this. Right? It doesn't matter. $350 is not a lot for any human being. A lot of people get on Twitter and they're like, I can't. 2 weeks later, they're like, PS4 share. So it's like, whatever. Everybody can afford $350 at some point or another. They find it. I don't know how they do it. That's personal. That's up to them.
Yeah.
But they find it. Right now, Phil Spencer, if I could talk to him besides what's going on this week, I'd say to him, you need to make sure that you make the Xbox 2 one powerful motherfucker. Yeah. Like, and Crap, that's that, my friend.
And backwards compatible.
Well, of course. Well, Crap, we know that now. Listen, the one guy that is a PC gamer in my where I work, the reason he loves what he loves so much is because every game he's bought since he was born on PC is still with him. Yeah. So everything you have on Xbox One will carry to Xbox 2. That's a given. If it's not, then I'm going to throw my hat in the air and be like, holy shit, I'm going to join you on the bridge. You know, like literally, I'm buying the shit digitally, so when I plug in my Xbox 2, this shit is just right there. You know, so I mean, so if Phil says he's making another box, you know he's gonna make it one powerful beast.
I hope so, man. Look, if he's listening, yeah. But you know what? I just wish that they would they have to repair things a little bit still this generation. I think to have a chance next gen.
I think it's right now, like we were all just saying, and Mooch was saying, and you said before, crap, and like I said, it's hard because there's a whole new group of people there that are coming in with a box that's not theirs, and they're trying to repair shit, but. And also getting the software. So maybe after this, maybe PC people may get their shit now, but when the new Xbox comes out, they're going to have to start paying for shit or doing the right shit, or they ain't going to get nothing. Maybe they'll go back to that. They just need their box. This is not their box. That's the issue. It's not their box.
Yeah, you know what? I agree.
But I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. It still has to be some patches put on there to repair shit for the new one. I agree with you 100%. Before I go any further, before we go to the next subject, I have to say hi to somebody because they watch. It's a new person of mine. I got them to watch you guys, so I have to shout them out real quick. I have to say hi to Soapsky because he likes you guys. He likes both you, you know, Crap and Mooch. He likes you guys. He likes you, Crap. See, I found somebody else who likes you. See that?
Hey, well, it's good to know because it's hard to tell, like, who. I mean, I'm sure that probably most of them will be back anyway, but it's like hard to tell who's like, oh, you know, oh man, Crap Gamer's gone. Like, dude, I can disagree with something Microsoft does and still be an Xbox fan. I love the Xbox One. I just wish Microsoft loved it as much as we do. We care about it more than they do. You know what I mean? And I think that's.
I don't know if that's the case. I think, like I said before, we'll go back to that. They're a new group of people. It's not their box that they're working with now. You know, they had to pick up the slack and pick up this shit and that shit, and they had all this shit going on, all these things in a work that they had no control over because it was put in place before they got there. So maybe even, I hate to say it, maybe some of this shit was put in place before they even got in and they can't change it. You know, we don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could be right. I mean, look, this isn't the box that I think Phil and them wanted. You know what I mean? I think he's probably in the ground floor of building a better gamer box for next gen. I bet. You know, he would have to be, if they plan on doing it, you have to be deep into that thought process right now.
Right.
So I'd assume that he's doing that, but they need to come out swinging with that. You know what I mean? It has to be powerful, but not too expensive. It has to be backwards compatible. They have to give you some incentives. You know, they have to do something to win back some people, but they also have to do something to attract people this generation as well.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too.
Because so far, like, what I see is like it's a Windows 10 event on February. Is it also going to be a Windows Xbox event on E3? I mean, are they going to just talk about Windows? Because GDC is Windows too. You know, I don't think that it's you know.
Hopefully not, Crap. Hopefully we'll get a surprise then. It would be nice.
Yeah,
I think Xbox One fans are going to get something at this event, especially if nothing from this uproar. I think something will come of this.
If they don't, I think it's going to be a worse uproar when E3 comes. You think this is bad? They're really going to kick in. You know, they've got a lot of supporters. I mean, you also got to realize that we are out here on YouTube on a daily basis, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. And we are supporting them as well as buying the consoles, buying the game. I have people that I talk to on Twitch and that I talked to on Twitter page that went and bought games that they saw that I had when I did my collection and said, well, oh, wow, what was that game? Whatever. And they went out and bought it. I have people buying games because of what I'm doing. So
well, you know, I think you know, you're right. And you're talking about backwards compatibility, Nancy?
No, I'm not talking about just backwards compatibility. I'm talking about even my Xbox One games, but
Xbox
also
One,
and also also backwards compatibility. They have the 360. They didn't have these games, and so you know, I got people jumping on shit. I mean, I had people after I started playing KI said, you know what, I was gonna get that game, but I'm not this. They bought it, and then they're telling me a month later, man, I'm glad I saw you put those videos up. I'm glad I saw you do this because I like this game, man. I'm back into fighting games, and I'm doing it.
Mike Ibarra.
You know how good that made me feel?
It feels great.
It feels It really does. It really, and even I'm bringing more people together. I mean, people made friends on my channels.
Mike Ibarra has said that this E3 he's going to have another bomb to drop in a positive way for Xbox One that's of the caliber of backwards compatibility. So and he said actually he has two. He was just on the Tick podcast show maybe about 2 months ago, and he said he's got two more things he couldn't reveal at the time. But they're not going to reveal them both this summer. Probably one this summer, one next summer. But like, there's things in the works still. So like we were saying on Crossfire, if really the hardware was dead, then it's dead. Why do all these other services? It's just a waste of money. It's not dead. All they're really trying to do is take over 2/3 of the market. That's all they're trying to do. They own a PC and they own an Xbox. They just want to own both very well and crush Sony. So here's the thing. Sony, do you know why Sony's so quiet in these past 2 days? First of all, they're letting us do all the arguing. So they're reaping the benefits there. And number two, they're like, we're fucked. They are fucked. Because here's the thing, crap. Whether you, I, Titanfall Princess, and the other Xbox community people agree or disagree, Sony can't. This is another. All right, ready? So Xbox goes, we're going to give backwards compatibility. Sony's like, we can't. Okay? Microsoft has got new IPs coming out their ass that are pretty damn popular, and people like Scalebound, Quantum Break, etc., etc. Sony doesn't have that. Sony's new. They have one new IP, Horizon. Who gives a shit? We don't, and that's a pipe dream. So far, we've seen two showings of it again in the same exact circle of grass. So there's that. And now you've got Microsoft saying we're giving free games out on PC and Xbox One. You got to look at it as a company that's really trying to dominate. And we've said it a million times on BGST. It's hard for Microsoft to dominate the console space because why, crap? Why? Because Sony's been around for 20 years. There's a 20-year-old console. We can't compete. But you know when you can compete? When you own the other third. If it's stocks, okay, and all of a sudden, crap, it's me, you, and Nancy. We each own a third of stock. All of a sudden, me and you, we're out drinking, and blah, 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 and we're like, oh, yeah, and Nancy, don't take any offense to this at all. And, like, oh, you know what, let's merge, and then we're gonna take over this side of the world, and Nancy's only gonna, right now it's the three of us, and we're all kind of teeter-tottering, oh, Nancy's ahead, I'm ahead, you're ahead, Nancy's ahead, you're ahead. All of a sudden, me and you link up. Once we link up, Nancy can't beat us, we're 2/3. What I'm saying is, they have the ability to do this. Sony, and with their simplistic console that only plays a PS3 UI and has 2 games a year that comes out that people care about in North America, they can't compete. And let me tell you something, crap. In about a year, when all this when all this becomes normal, it will become normal. It will. Whether and I'm not putting words in your mouth, Cap. Whether it's your choice whether you want to stick around or not. But it will become normal. And when it does, Sony can't answer, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
When you say that, Mooch, I got to ask a question.
Sure.
And I don't know if other people are going to be asking it. Do you think that Microsoft is doing this on purpose to cause an uproar, to cause something, to see what's going to happen, and to make a plan to go forward with the uproar? Make people think other shit?
I don't think they expected this. I don't think they expected it this bad. Anyway, I thought they might be some outspoken. But if you look, I just looked at Albert Pinello's thing where he's like, well, the advantage is you get a free copy of Windows 10. But guess what? Xbox One gamers don't really give a shit about that free copies of Windows 10. I mean, if you were to get it, I'm sure most would just give them away anyway. But what's interesting is there's really very little benefit other than possibly the games selling a little bit better, but are they going to sell that much better and at a discounted price? Is it really worth the hassle of fracturing it? I mean, that's all debatable, but I will say it's not 100% doom and gloom because, look, to play these games like the exclusives, you need not only a Windows 10, you need DirectX 12, you need, you need all their stuff, you know what I mean? So it's not just as, oh, well, you can play the game. It's specifically on Windows. You can't play it on Steam. You need DirectX 12. So I can see Microsoft is pushing their own their own things for this, so it's not as cut and dry as maybe people might seem. I get that, but anybody that just sees this as 100% good and doesn't at least step back enough to see that it could potentially be bad, you know, I would say that wake up a little bit, because you might be glad you did. After February 25th, when they do their Windows event, we'll know a lot more. If you just keep on hearing Windows, PC, PC, I think then it's okay to worry a little bit. Wouldn't you agree?
Not necessarily, because E3 is not there yet. We don't know what's going to happen at E3.
But still, if they say on the 25th, Halo 5 is coming out on PCs this September, Gears 4 is coming out day and date with the Xbox One version, I mean, wouldn't you think that their focus maybe obviously wouldn't be 100% on the console?
I don't know. You know what? Listen, when I went and saw Jerry Seinfeld live, right? And at the end, he does a Q&A.
Does he really go, "What's the deal with this?" Like the whole time?
Absolutely. That's why I love him. That's why I'm like, "What's the deal with this PC?" But a guy raises his hand. He says, "Yeah, what's up?" And he goes, "Which one of your episodes was your favorite?" And he goes, "Geez," he goes, "every episode was kind of like a breath of air. I kind of like every one of them." You know what I mean? Like, my point, your question is do you think that they're neglecting or just paying? Both the PC and the Xbox One are Microsoft's babies. You know, so which one do they like more? That's like asking a parent which kid they like more. They like them both. So I think that's what we have to come to terms with here. It's just that this is a new outspoken version of Xbox. We're not used to that, because since 2002, we've just never heard this PC coming to Xbox coming to PC. It just seems so foreign, and now they're baby feeding us. You know, we're finally going to start to get the solid foods. We've been eating mush and mush. Now we're going to, you know, and
you're drinking formula.
Right, and that's it. You know, that's what I'm trying to talk you into, not into believing me, but it's kind of like we're Morpheus right now. You
I believe, Booch. I believe. I'm Windows, one love, one fan.
One love. Yeah, listen, man. You know, but I mean, listen.
You're stupid.
No, I mean, like I said, it's like Jerry's comment though, and Jerry Seinfeld said that. You know, every gasp of air is his favorite. Every episode is his favorite, and to Microsoft, it's hard to ask any executive, especially publicly on Twitter, "Hey, don't you want to take care of us more than them?" Well, they're walking on eggshells. And when you sit at a corporate meeting and you're sitting in a $2,000 executive chair, just the chair is $2,000, by the way. Like, you have to understand that when Satya Nadella or whoever his next up is turns to him and says, "Are you incorporating the Windows brand into what you're doing?" He's got to say yes, or there is no Phil. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of different things here, and listen, you know, crap, again, when it comes down to it, when you shut your PC off, not gaming, when you shut your Twitter off, your phone off, your YouTube channel's not, you know, you're in media player for the night, it's just you, your gaming box, your friends on your gaming box, and there is no PC. It's like the Matrix. When you finally believe that there is no spoon, that's when you can bend it. So what I'm saying to you is, there is no PC to you. They don't exist. They are such a small group of people that they shouldn't be taking up one breath of your precious air, because they don't really. All Microsoft is doing is saying, these are also our kids too, and I have to feed them games, because this is a market that has been pretty much unfed by us. And Steam walked in with a shitty software program, a shitty bunch of rules. Yeah, they give away fucking $2 indies every summer. Everyone was, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to play Firewatch next year for $2.50 for 3 hours. You know, listen, that's all they did. Microsoft, somebody sat down and said, why are we letting these assholes? That's why Phil was so nice to Steam on stage. They're nice because it's the old Godfather method. You keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. They fucking hate them.
Yeah.
They're going to crush them. Do you understand that Steam and Sony are shitting? They're wearing adult diapers tonight, which in Japan is a custom, like, coolness. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, that's fine. That's what they're, like, they are shitting themselves. They have the juggernaut coming at them in a Mack truck with no brakes on full blast. So what I'm saying to you is, we've always been. This is what I said yesterday on Twitter, but it got ignored. I'm a Microsoft fan in this war. And it's not because people, oh, well, you're acting like a kid. I'm not acting like a kid. I'm just telling you, I don't like what Sony's product is. You know, I'm an Apple fan. I don't like Android. I just don't. So whenever I get into these same heated discussions at work about Android versus iPhone, it's I have a hell of a day. My blood pressure's like 4,000 probably. But like, you know, like it's just that this is something I firmly believe in. So when I see when I saw that it was going to PC, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Then I did a little reading, and I saw it's going to PC, Xbox Windows Store. I go, whew. Okay, we're keeping it. It's truly still exclusive. If the 15 people that are in the 5-mile radius I'm sitting in are playing on their PC, kudos, my friend. Kudos. Thank you. Yes. But the other 4,000 people in my 5-mile radius are playing on Xbox One. And that was the tweet that I did last night or yesterday when the bomb hit, that I got retweeted more than anything else when someone said, hey, Mooch, are you going to buy this on Xbox still? And I said, I'm going to buy this on Xbox like the other 98% of people playing this game. So, you know, the only thing I can say in kind of finalizing this is just that, yes, it's going to PC, but it's going to Microsoft's environment. And since me and you and Nancy care about the Xbox One, and we do, we want to see that ecosystem live.
Yes.
It will live because every single cent, every red cent that goes to Quantum Break goes to Microsoft. None of it goes to Steam. None of it goes to Sony.
Yeah.
So
as long as they keep it that way, I think, you know, they have a chance. Like, people were like, oh, crap. Look, I spoke up for something I thought was anti-consumer. I still play my Xbox. I'm still pro Xbox. I could be disappointed with something they did.
That's what they didn't get, though. You weren't going against Xbox. You were standing up for the consumer.
Yeah.
And that's what that did bother me a little bit, because I don't think you deserve, you know, as much as you and I joke around, you know, and all that shit. I don't think you deserved all that bullshit, because I understood what you were saying. You were standing up for the consumer and what you thought was right, and being lied to with false advertisement. And I agree with that. I agree with that. You know, I really do. And I thought it was wrong that you got that much shit for it. But, you know, I have to say once again that I thank you for standing up for all of us who support the Xbox and all the consumers who buy Xbox and Microsoft products.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll have to see. Like, the jury's out. Like, if they do continue to do shitty in the NPD, you know, look, and it's not that the sales matter, but they only matter to a fact where you have to sell a certain amount before you can get another one. You know, you have to sell good enough to warrant a sequel or warrant a next one, right? The first Xbox, I guess, did well enough to warrant a next one. The 360, obviously, being probably the best console of all time, you know, warranted another one. They fucked up the Xbox One from the start. Will that one do enough? Will it catch? You know, they need to lower the price, in my opinion. Get that thing around the $299 marker. So it's got to be constantly lower than the PS4, in my opinion, to compete. You know, get that thing in people's homes, because it's a good box. I just think that people have to, you know, they have. In my
opinion, at $299, they're not losing money.
Yeah, they have to experience it. Let's be honest. You know, Xbox One, people, I get tweeted all the time, hey, crap, you were right, Xbox is great. You know, I wish I would have got it before. I shouldn't have listened to the media, to this person, to that person. If people get it in their homes, they'll see it's a really good option.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just sad that Phil kind of made me look like the bad guy or a crybaby. I don't care about Quantum Break going to PC. You know, I cared about them lying to people about it not going to PC for weeks and weeks and months leading up to that point. So
yeah, because they kept denying it.
Yeah. So they denied it multiple times, and you guys can check out the tweets. You can see.
We all saw it.
You guys can see exactly what I said. But anyway, you know, I'm gonna head out of here because I'm gonna check out the rest of the Shaggy podcast.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Hey Mooch, Nancy, thanks for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy.
Hey, and you guys, man, keep it Windows, man. Rack them up.